versatile. I just said that because you get mad at me for saying versatile.
Oh, I was like, why are you looking at me? Versatile.
Versatile. Hi, I'm Susan here at the cellar to tell you about our daily wine feature. Today we're going to be featuring the Catena San Carlos Appellation Cabernet Franc. I know you've all heard a lot about the Catenas from past email offers, but they're one of the most famous families of wine in Argentina. So this comes from a single appellation. The more specific you get with region, typically the higher quality that the wine is going to end up being. So this is 100% Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc is one of the parent varietals of Cabernet Sauvignon. Typically, Cabernet Franc will ripen a little bit earlier than Cabernet Sauvignon does. It's also grown all over the world. Depending on where the grapes are grown, you're going to have quite different character when you buy a bottle of Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc from the Loire Valley can be quite lean, more fresh as far as flavor profile goes, and that's pretty typical for Old World Cabernet Francs. When you get into New World Cabernet Francs, like the one from Argentina that we're going to be tasting today, you tend to get a lot more full body. Typically it's a warmer climate, so you get a more fruit-forward flavor profile, and they'll usually use quite a bit more oak in these wines than you'll find in an Old World Cabernet Franc. So this one specifically was matured for 12 months in French oak barrels. 35% of them are new, so you'll get a little bit of character from that. Robert Parker scored this wine 93 points out of 100. This is going to be the first time that I've tasted, so let's see how it goes. So beautiful aromatics even from here. The aromatics are jumping out of the glass. First glance at color is really pretty, very vibrant in the glass. Kind of a purple ruby core. And the rim is pretty bright, showing that there hasn't been a lot of contact with oxygen during the winemaking process. Really, really pretty. Medium amount of staining on the glass, so that's going to be the extraction of color that comes from the grapes. And the reason why I'm commenting on the staining is because this wine ferments for 20 days, and then they cold soak it for an additional 10 days after fermentation with the skins and the juice in contact. So it does gently extract that beautiful color that we're seeing in the glass. All right, so aromatics. Some really nice red berry fruit, as well as some baking spice. So red berries like raspberries, really, really ripe raspberry. Some savory bay, maybe some thyme, and a little bit of clove. A nice warmth brings up the finish on the aromatics. So let's taste. Okay, so the palate is really nice, medium weight, not too full, characteristic of a Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc also has that kind of character that you get from those green herbs, so like thyme, like bay leaf, that are also present in the aromas as well as on the palate. Make it a beautiful pairing for red meats, anything that's seasoned with a little bit of green herb, you'll end up with a complementary pairing. Medium body means you can pair this with more things than you maybe would be able to with a Cabernet Sauvignon without overpowering the flavor profile. So you could have this with a nicely seasoned pork or grilled beef. Grilled meats, I think, would actually be really good for this. And the tannin is more of like a medium minus. So you could have this with either like a lean cut of meat or a more fatty cut of meat. Typically, the Catena wines are actually quite famous for being in high altitude, which is common for Argentina as well. So when you get high altitude, you've got a lot of sun exposure, creating a really nice dark fruited wine, as well as retaining a natural acidity when the nights get a little bit cooler at higher altitudes. Robert Parker reviewed this wine at 93 points, which I think is totally appropriate. But what's really outstanding about this wine is the price point. So the regular price is $28.95, and today we're going to be offering it for $21.71 for a 93-point wine. I think that's a really outstanding value, and it tastes really good too. So if you want to pick up a couple bottles of this beautiful Cabernet Franc from Argentina, you can pick that up on our website or apply to the email. Cheers!